नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ऋकारस्त्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्त्वन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। I forgot that we don't do the whole prayer on this class. Anyway, that was good. Om Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Parabrahmatattvam Yuvanam Vashishthante Vasat Rishiganaihi Avritam Brahmanishthaihi Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudramanandarupam Swatmaramam Mudita Vadanam Dakshinamurtimide Vatavitapi Samipe Bhumi Bhage Nishannam Sakalamuni Jananam Jnanadataram Arat Tribhuvana Gurumisham Dakshinamurti Devam Janana Marana Dukkha Cheda Daksham Namami Chitram Vatataro Mule Vriddha Shishya Gururyava Gurostu Maunam Vyakhyanam Shishyastu Sinna Sanshaya Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddhaganaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavadyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Vishwam Darpanadrishyavana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bhairivo Bhutam Yatha Nidraya Yat Sakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye Swatmanamevadvayam Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Bijasyantarivāṅkuro Jagadidam Pramnirvikalpam Punaha Maya Kalpita Deshakala Kalana Vaichitya Chitrikritam Maya Viva Vijrambhayatyapi Maha Yogi Vayasvechaya Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Yasyaiva Sfuranam Sadatmakam Asatkalparthakam Bhasate Sakshat Tattvamasiti Veda Vachasa Yo Bodhayatyashritam Yat Sakshat Karanat Bhavena Punara Vrittir Bhavambho Nidhau Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Nana Chitrakatodharastitamaha Dīpatsprabhābhaswaram Jnanam Yasya Tu Chakshuradikarana Dvara Bahirspandate Janamiti Tameva Bhantamanubhat Etat Samastam Jagate Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namayidam. Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Deham pranam apindriyanyabhichalam. Buddhim cha shunyam viduhu. Stri balanda jadopamastwamriti. Bhranta brisham vadinaha. Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpitamaha Vyamoha Samharine. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namayidam. Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Rahu Grasta Divankarendu Sadisho Maya Samachadana Sanmatra Karanopasamharanato Yo Bhutsushuptah Puman. Pragaswapsamiti prabodha samaye Yarpatyabhigyayate. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namayidam. Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Balyadishu api jagradadishu tatha sarvasvavasthasvapi vyavrittasvanuvartamanam ityantaspurantam sada. Svatmanam prakati karoti bhajatam yo mudraya bhadraya. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namayidam. Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Vishwam pashyati karya karanataya swaswami sambandataha shishyacharya tathaiva pitru putratyatmana vedataha. Swapne jagrati vaya esha purusho maya paribhramitaha. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namayidam. Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Puram Yansyanalo Nilombar Narthapimam Shufpuman Ityabhati Chara Charatmakamidam Yasyaiva Mukyashtakam. Namyat Kinchana Vidyate Vimrishatam Yasmat Parasmat Vibhoho. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namayidam. Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Sarvatmatvamiti Sputi Kritamidam Yasmadamushmin Stave Tenasya Shravanat Tadartamanana Jnanacha Sankirtana. Sarvatmatvamiha Vibhuti Sahitam Syadishwaratvam Swataha Siddhye Tatpunarashtadha Parinatam Chaishwaryam Vyahatam. So we had in pronouncing this, let's double check that. Is it on? Yeah. Bhuram Bhamsya Nalo Nilo Ambar Nilom Nilombaram Ambaram Ambar. Let's see what's a good break there. We are not smooth there. Bhuram Bhamsya Nalo Nilombar.
Yeah, Nilambara. Mahanartho Himanshukuman. That's the break.
Ambaram. Ambaram. Aharnatho. So let's do it. So the Makara will go with the first one. So it'll be Bhuram Bhamsya Nalo Nilombaram Aharnartho Himamshuf Puman. I think so. That will be better. Huh?
Yeah.
So let's do it that way. And then the other one we had slight is...
Last verse.
No, last one is okay, is it? I don't think any... No, this... on number 4, Janami iti tameva bhantam anubhat. Yeah, so it should be bhat tameva bhantam anubhati etat samastam. Anubhati etat samastam. But because it's there's sandhi, so it becomes Janami iti tameva bhantam anubhati etat samastam. So there we can probably not stop, not even have a pause, just keep on going. So we can remember that. And I also am not consistent.
Actually, that one I remember because I had to practice that one.
Uh-huh.
And when our Gurukulam CD that we have on that one is Yet Samastam Jagatam. So,
Etat samastam jagat.
Janamiti tameva bhantam anubhat Yetat Samastam Jagat.
No, you see, you have one of two choices. Because there is a yakara, so one choice is Janamiti tameva bhantam anubhat Yetat samastam. That's not possible. So the best thing is either to say Janamiti tameva bhantam anubhati etat samastam jagat.
So that should be a T. So it could be a T, yeah, T.
If you break the sandhi, it's a T, E plus A becomes Tya.
Yeah.
Or because I think what we can do is just go through it without a pause, which we have done in a couple of cases. So Janamiti tameva bhantam anubhantam. Janamiti tameva bhantam. Okay, so let's do this. Why don't we break after bhantam? Janamiti tameva bhantam anubhatyetat samastam. Okay, let's do that. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay, so we are doing verse number 5. Deham. Okay, let me turn this on. So we're doing verse number 5. Deham pranam api indriyan api chalam buddhim cha shunyam viduhu. So if you recall, the concept that this verse is highlighting is the set of doubts. So we are in 4, 5 and 6. This is mananaparam vakyani. Mananaparam vakyani. Mananaparam means where doubts are brought up. So doubts meaning that reconciliation of the Shastra vision and what would be called a Prakrita vision. Prakrita vision means uneducated, natural, unskilled is called Prakritam. It's kind of like, when you have a lump of something like either a metal or even earth, which needs to be molded into a nice shape. So, this is what a skilled artisan would do. It would take, let's just say, or even say a rock. Let's talk about a rock. So there is a rock which is the basic material, but it has not been shaped yet into a murti, into a vigraha. So this is what we call a prakrita. So the human being is considered to be a prakrita purusha. It is a kind of a natural, nature-based one which hasn't been educated yet. So the mind of a child can also be called a prakrita buddhi. It really doesn't know much. The thinking is kind of elementary, and but then slowly through education, through training, through the, the knowledge of language. Language is the most important thing, and so on. Then a person is shaped into some kind of a nice shape. And so the doubts here are between a Prakrita Purusha and a Shastra Purusha, one who is a well-educated person. So the Shastra's vision is something, but the natural vision is completely different. So removal of doubts is kind of like chipping away, slowly learning how to make a nice murti out of it. And so it's interesting that the murti, the shape of a vigraha, is already there. You're not importing the material, but you are expressing it. You're just expressing it. And the chipping it away can be called as mananam. And the mananam consists of, you take a Shastra vision. It's kind of like, someone, supposing you are, even these skilled artisans, they have a vision that they want to create, isn't it? I remember going through this with Swami Dayanandji when he was commissioning the work for the Dakshinamurti Vigraha for the ashram. Very early days when we were much smaller, and so once we made the first thing that we did was to make the hall. A lot of work was required. I remember a lot of our friends were involved and so on. Sometimes you should see the pictures of how this was brought about. But anyway, once the hall was made, then Swamiji had a vision of creating a temple within the hall. And then, of course, when he would go to India, he wanted to have a vigraha for Dakshinamurti. And so he interviewed and he found out about a number of people who were capable of doing a very good vigraha, creating a very good vigraha for Dakshinamurti. And Swamiji says that ultimately I have to depend on his vision. And when it finally was made, Swamiji was very happy, extremely happy, because there is a certain, and they must have talked also, because there is a certain expression of the face of the vigraha that has to be brought out. A gentle smile. Because the Ishvara's face is that of, there's a word that is describe, a word that is used to describe Adi Shankara's way of expressing things. It's called Prasanna Gambhiryam. Prasanna Gambhiryam. So Prasanna Gambhirya means it's a very serious business. Gambhirya means Gambhira. Gambhira means it's not kind of flighty, not like a dance pose or something like this. It's something which is very important. But being a very important one doesn't mean that it is unpleasant. It's a very pleasant meditation. And so to bring out the pleasantness of the face was, you depend completely on the vision of the Karigar. Swamiji was not making it himself. And so he kind of described, this is what we want you to do, and so on and so forth. But then you wait to see how it comes out. And when the crate was open, I was not there at that time. When the crate was open, Swamiji was ecstatic, really ecstatic. And then he was so excited also. Then the next time when we were there, he was describing to us that like a child, my gosh, how this was done, and this, that, or the other. So wonderful. Anyway, going back to the doubts, the mananam, it is that you need to have a vision. And that vision is created by the Shastra. And that is given in the first three verses. This is called Shravanam. Shravanam is the vision. And Mananam is that you've got a lump of things that don't look like it. We don't have that vision initially. Slowly we have to chip it away until the Prakrita Purusha becomes what would be called is Samskrita Purusha. Samskrita Purusha. The word Samskrita could be used here in a very good way. Samskrita means Samyakrita, one which is very well done. So like the Vigraha of Dakshinamurti, which is very well done. Every time you go there, he just looks at you as though he's looking at you. And beautiful. So this is what is called a Samskrita vision. So you have to reconcile the Prakrita vision with Samskrita vision. And that process is done through Mananam. So, so some general, as I was preparing for the class and going through some of the verses of Sureshwacharya, I wanted to give you an overall sense of what Mananam means and so on and so forth. So we will do that. So that's why I'm starting with this concept that the Mananam means you have, and so Mananam means, so a very interesting lot of things. So here, just to give you an idea, so just keep that in concept in mind. I'll close the loop in a minute. So here it talks about, again going back to the how we were structuring the Dakshinamurti Stotram verses. In number 4 and number 5 are very close together. Number 4 was your own ideas that are false. And number 5 are well researched, well stated, well dogmatically done, but still false. One is non-enquired, the other one is well enquired, but both of them are false. So the number 5 is well enquired and well stated by, and this is not just theoretical. It is not theoretical for a number of reasons, which please keep in mind as we proceed along today's class. It is not true at a number of reasons. One is, and as you know, this is one of the basic things you should really, it should be in your subconscious. What is not true does not stand in court. This is a basic fact. What is not truthful may appear to be, like somebody boasting or somebody exaggerating. And at that point, you don't know what else to do because you don't have any facts about the person and so on. So it stands as an exposure for a while. But the more you look into it, you say, this is not true. This guy is, this is what happens where people start, they take their, they state they will have an MS degree from Harvard. And then the more you use it, it becomes truth. You send it out to all the people, new interviews and so on, and many of the people don't have the time to, they just look at it and say, okay, he must have gotten a master's degree from Harvard and so on. Then once in a while, when you stand for some office, and some correspondent somewhere says, let me look to see whether he really went to Harvard. He goes to Harvard, he says, never heard of this guy. Then the truth comes. This happens all the time, really. So, so the thing is that the stated views can stand for a while, that I've got a degree from Harvard. And so, and the important thing is that the Prakrita Purusha, our own thinking, is like that. Shastra says that really, when you say I am the body, this is how we don't go around saying I am the body. We don't say that, but we mean that. I am 5'6". I am 65 years old. It means I is equated to the condition of the body. So this is also a false notion which I don't inquire into. And so in this case, they're saying be a correspondent. Look into it. Did you attend Harvard or not? And so when you say I am a dehatma buddhi and so on, so this means that in this Bhagavad Gita there is this famous verses in the 13th chapter called Amanitvam Adambhitvam Ahimsak Shantir Arjavam. So the first two ones is Arjuna asks Krishna, what do you mean by knowledge? This is the 13th chapter. 12 chapters have gone by. This is like going through Ramayana and say, by the way, who was Rama again? It's just like that. So he was asking, he says, and the Gita was written so that in the 13th chapter such a simple thing is raised again. What it means is, I am not sure of the jnana. I don't understand what really myself is. So he raises this question, and the answer to that is amanitva. Amanitva means absence of manitva. And then the second one is adambhitvam. So adambhitva means the absence of bhitvam. Adambhitvam. And so the two are, the first one is normal exaggeration. The first one means exaggeration, and the second one is totally false. It's like supposing you went to Harvard and you attended the first year of a 4-year college degree. So you did go to Harvard, but if you say I got my degree from Harvard, that is amanitva. But you went to San Jose State and you say I went to Harvard, then that is adambhitva, completely adambhitva. And so the Prakrita Purusha is generally manitva. We have a false notion about ourselves. So there Krishna says, really speaking, it means you have to inquire into it. Are you talking the truth or not? And so our doubts are of one of two natures. And so this is an important thing to grasp as a concept. I don't want to get into the detail. I will go into some details, but I want you to grasp the overall concept. And the overall concept is very interesting. It's a very important thing, which is that when we bring up these well-stated facts, and we will go into that in a minute, this is called people who believe in Dehatma Buddhi, then people who believe in Pranatma Buddhi, so that's the second one, then Indriyani Api Buddhi, then Chalam Buddhi, then Shunyam Buddhi. These are all separate ones we are going to take up hopefully today itself. So we will look into that. So when you look into these held views, very well held views, our job is not to criticize them. Is not to criticize them as though there is a debate going on and you tell somebody this is stupidity on your part. Why do you think that way? No. There is nothing to be gained by that. But what happens is that those are the views that I hold myself. without knowing it. So the purpose of examining these is not to score some sense of superiority for Vedanta, because it doesn't. What are you going to gain? You may impress somebody for a little while, but that's worthless. The main thing is you want to remove the doubts in yourself. You see, that's the thing. We are going to examine that. This is the most important thing, the most important concept. So the Dehatma Buddhi, why should we criticize someone? We are going to talk about this. The stupidity of holding that this is that Deha, the body is the Atma. This is the stupidity thing, absolutely. But instead of having a conversation with someone and criticizing him, you have to look at yourself and say, what am I thinking? I'm thinking exactly the same thing. I'm 5'6", I'm 150 pounds. Exactly the same thing. And so I need to, and so these doubts that are stated here are meant for you to pay attention to how we think as a Prakrita Purusha, the non-enquired. And the non-enquired thing can either be true or false. And if upon inquiry, if it does not hold up, then it is false. If it holds up, it is the truth. So this is the sense of this particular number 5. Deham pranam api indriyani api chalam buddhim cha shunyam. So with that, let us go into the, having given you the overall concept, that it should not be looked. You see, that's the thing. If you look upon this as a kind of a scholastic way of looking at things, that Buddhism says this, and Jainism says this, and Hinduism says this, and so on and so forth. I had the same conversation with Swami Swatantrananda. He says we had the same conversation, that there are people who are great knowers of Vedanta, but as a professor in a college. Lots of people. And I don't mind even telling you that there are a lot of people who approached me and said, why don't you teach this in some of the local colleges? And I'm beyond that. I don't want to do it for money or for this is for my own self-improvement. And so anyway, so looking at all of these, should we not be looking as kind of like a scholarly analysis, which could also be used, but as we will see, as we produce into Nididhyasanam, that unless you get into a habit of questioning your false notions about yourself, you are not doing yourself enough justice. This is what Nididhyasanam is all about. But before that, you need to get into Mananam. Before Nididhyasanam, you need to go into this doubt removal. And not doubt removal for putting anyone else down, but in saying, my gosh, I also think the same way. I'm no different. Be very, very honest with yourself. And here Swami Maheswaranji made such a beautiful point. He said, I'm just giving you a general one again. So if you look at the 4 lines, Deham pranamapi indriyanapi chalam buddhim cha shunyam viduhu. Those who hold the following ways, that the Atma is Deham, Atma is Pranam. And who are the kind of people? Stri bala andha jada upamaha tu ahamiti bhrantaha bhrisham vadinaha. Who really don't know. It's kind of like just prattlings. Just prattlings. Then what? Then the 3rd line is very interesting, very important. This is what Maheswaranji was talking. Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Mahavyamoha Samharine. He says that Ishvara's Shakti, which is really my Shakti. You see that? This is the thing that, again, I think I want you to really think about this. We should not think about Ishvara's Shakti as separate from my Shakti. He has outsourced that to us. So when you think about Maya, you should think about your ability to fool yourself. This is the important thing that we have to see. Because if you don't do that, then what happens is you blame some kind of a Maya. Ishvara and Maya separate from you. And you sit there and that's not wrong with me, but there is something, Ishvara is doing some strange things to me. You separate yourself. And this is not the truth. The truth is that there is no Ishvara without you. You are a living example of Ishvara. And in a micro version of Ishvara, your Maya Shakti is, you have the Maya Shakti. And you have the ability to remove the Maya Shakti. See, this is what it means. Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Mahavyamoha Samharine. Samharine means one who completely eliminates it. And so, both Avidya Shakti and Vidya Shakti are yours. And it depends upon which one you're going to use. If Prakrita Purusha uses Avidya Shakti, a Samskrita Purusha uses Vidya Shakti. And so, this is a very beautiful point that Swami Maheshanji pointed out. And so what it means is that, yes, we are segmenting several ways to look at yourself, the several errors that we make in the first two lines. Why? Because we are a Stri. Stri means that we don't utilize our ability. We are just wasting our life on trivial things. Or Bala. Bala means that I am not yet capable, but if I keep on doing it, I will. Stri means that as a person, I'm already 70 years old and I haven't inquired into the self. I've wasted my life. This is the Striyam. And then the Bala means that I'm not ready yet. I've got a lot of things to do. And this also would be an interesting topic to discuss. In some of the work that Swami Paramarthananda has done in explaining this will be useful. We'll do that later on. Or Jada means that I'm just lacking in this life the ability to think and so on. Anyway, so the first two lines are about the details. And the third line is, the thing I should see is that all these held views that I have, which is supported by various schools of thought, which we will examine in a minute, all these are Maya Shakti. This is the ability that I can fool myself. But I also should see that I have the Vidya Shakti that can vanquish the Maya Shakti. And what a wonderful thing. I really appreciate it, and I thank Dakshinamurti for giving me both the Shaktis. One which is incipient and one which can create a beautiful vision for myself. So Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita. Vilasa means the expression of the Maya. Also the first two lines, both the experiencer and the experienced are nothing but Maya Shakti. Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita. Vilasa Kalpita. Mahavyamoha. This is not an ordinary problem. This is the ultimate issue. The prize is also ultimate, and the problem is also ultimate, both of them. So I need to buckle up and get going. But it is possible. It is possible. So that's the sense of the fifth stanza. So now let us go into a little bit more detail, and I will refer to, I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to update that file where each of the Manasa Ullasa was given, and I just haven't had the time. Hopefully I'll have it, so we'll see. Well, we'll see. Anyway, so now each one of the widely held views are examined by the Manasa Ullasa. First one is Deham iti Atma. I am the body. I am the body. And I am the body is a view not just held in a theoretical manner, but it is a way of life for many, many people, including ourselves. So this view is given in all of these Manasa Ullasa verses. So they will be, the first 5 verses are for the examination of the body is the Atma. Okay? So the first 5 verses, they specialize in examining. So here the problem is not solved. That will be done in a later verse. But the first one simply articulates what the view is. So the articulation of the view number one, just to give you I won't go into such details in all the cases, but just a few here and there, that really the pratyaksha is the primary means of understanding this world. Pratyaksha means our direct experience. Direct experience, and there are only 4. They also look at these elements, Mahabhuta, Pancha Mahabhuta, but they don't look at space as an important one. They feel this is nothingness. The main thing is the Vayu, the Agni, the Jalam, and the Prithvi. And he says this is what the main thing is, that I have experiences, and also in terms of means of knowledge, my actual experience, daily experience is the main one. And all these inferences that you use, that maybe it will be like this, maybe it will be like this, is useless. Just enjoy and have fun. And we know that the body is going to, and they also say that our body is the main instrument for enjoyment. And if you don't have the body, can you have enjoyment? No, you cannot have enjoyment without the body. So that proves that body is the main thing as its instrument for enjoyment, and as an experience for enjoyment, this is it. And don't think of anything more about it. And this is, we are just sort of making it into a strange thing, but this is how everybody thinks. The average person you just see on the street, they are not thinking about God or next life or any dharma or anything like this. The daily experiences, I just want to maximize my experience. So this is the first one. So this is what's called Charvakaha. So the Charvakaha means Charu Vak Yasya is the Charu Vak Yasya means that it looks plausible and pleasant. So, you go to some party and then say, come on, let's have some alcohol. And you say, no, come on, what are you talking about? Just enjoy life. Are you a prude? Don't you want to just have fun? So then what are you going to do? So This is what is called Charvaka. So the Deham Atma Buddhi is the Charvaka's view. And it has then some other byproducts of that. The next one is that so Deha is the Atma. Deha is the Atma. Atma means that one that is me. Atma means I am the Deha, I am the body. So he says, do you see yourself other than the body? So people will say, no, I don't see myself as other than the body. See, very, very clear. Didn't I tell you body was the Atma? It's you've already proven my case. So that's the second one. And then you say that it is very obvious that the body undergoes certain changes, and those are the dharmas of the body, and those are the body is the Atma. When the body is very young, don't you feel I'm young? So he says, yes, sorry, yeah, I do feel young. And the body gets sick, don't you feel I am sick? Say yes. See, what did I tell you? The body is the Atma. I don't know what else you want to talk about. This is very clear. This is experiential. This is what it is. And so this view is not as though it is theoretical or anything like this. Most people view that, including myself. It's not as though I'm some kind of a wise person or anything like this. When there is some sickness, I feel sickness. When my body has a problem, I have a problem. And so again, we should not view this as these stupid people that think that. I am the stupid person. I'm also thinking exactly the same way. All they do is that if you want to raise your voice in an inquiry, they squash it. They call you a prude and non-enjoying person or something. That's the only difference. And you at least have some voice. But other than that, you are very similar to each other. Deha. Then, in number 4, it talked about the fact that even Shastra, when they give you these samskaras, it was interesting, I substituted for Swamini Swatma Vidyananda GTU class last Monday. So the topic was samskaras. So I spent the whole time looking at samskaras and so on and so forth. So for example, one of the samskara is jata karma. Jata karma is the samskara done at the birth of the baby. There's actually a lot of samskaras done during the pregnancy of the mother. That also is all there, but I think number 7 or so is jata karma. So this person says, see number 4 he says, Varna ashrama vibhagascha deheshu eva pratishtita jata karma adi samskaraha dehasya eva vidhiyate. He says, what are you talking about? Your Shastra also talks about Varna. Varna means the 4 castes. You are a Brahmana. Isn't your being Brahmana associated with a body? So you say, yeah, that's true. See, what did I tell you? Your Shastra also talks about the body. That you are a Shudra. You cannot go to these temples. Isn't that associated with the body? So you say, yes, it's true. Okay, not only that, then ashrama. Ashrama are the 4, so this is what I was talking about in the Berkeley class to these people, that really samskaras, just to deviate for a minute, so the samskaras are, in my view, one of the 3 dimensions of our life's infrastructure. So the Shastra gives us kind of like the basic infrastructure of a house that we are building. And so we are not capable of designing. So they're saying, okay. And one good way to look at infrastructure is the laws that make my life easier. Like for instance, which direction of the road should you be driving in? Left-hand side or right-hand side? There needs to be a common law that governs everyone. So I don't have to think about should I do this way or that. Like if supposing there's no law and you can drive anywhere. Can you imagine the problems that we will have? It's the same road that's being shared by two separate people going both ways. It will be a huge problem. So all the laws, all the infrastructures are to make my life in a way that I can construct around it, not thinking about it. So that has three dimensions. One is varna, one is ashrama, and the third one is samskaras. So varna means that what is my strength? What kind of a person am I born? Am I a one who is the one who's turned on by study and research? And the second one is, this is the Brahmana. Then the second one is Kshatriya, who's turned on by bravery and power, who sacrifice their lives for the good of the country. I remember when I was in high school, there's about 5 or 6 of us that were very close friends. So we used to talk about, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? And there's 2 out of the 5 that wanted to join the army. So 2 of us used to say, what? Why? He says, what do you mean, why? That's the best thing to do. My God, there's discipline, and you become the leaders, and you're protecting the whole country, and so on and so forth. Now I admire them for it, really. But at that time, I didn't. I just thought these guys are fools. What if you could just go into engineering or something like this? So anyway, so the Varna system means that you have to find your strengths and then follow your passion in those strengths. Ashrama system is the 4 stages where you have brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. And these are also enjoined for your goodness, how you should be doing it. For example, the very first stage means you should not be working. You should be studying only. It is wrong. Swami Dayananji also used to feel that to make your kids go to earn money by working is not right. It should be, we'll support you, your job is to study. Then you have grihastha, and then you have vanaprastha, where retirement. And finally you have true sannyasa, where you do not crave the company of everyone, you are comfortable by yourself. So this is an ashrama system. And the samskara system is also the same, that you should, one of the most important samskara is vivaha, marriage. Very important, where it is meant for your own growth, for becoming a little bit less selfish. It forces you to be less selfish. You cannot just tell the person, I'm going, so the spouse says, where? He says, I am not telling you. Wherever my mind goes. Your marriage is not going to last very long. So you have to tell him or her exactly what you're going to do, when you'll be back, and so on. And so all these are samskaras. In that, jata karma, so it is mentioned here in the second line of the verse number 4, jata karma di samskaraha dehasya eva vidhiyate. He says, what are you talking about? Even Shastra says that all these samskaras and varna and ashrama, they are meant for the body. Brahmana is a body. Don't you get it? So you say, you're right. That is, I haven't thought of that. So yeah, body is the most important thing. Everything is determined by the body. All of these. Then, so this is summarized in the second line of, no, I think just summarized separately. Iti prapancham charvakaha vanchayati alpa chetana. He says that, I don't know who's, no, this is number 6, sorry. First line of 6. Sometimes they do this. So he says, this is summarizes the Charvaka's view, and he says, Alpa Chetanaha means not a very intelligent view. Easy to puncture, which he will do later. Right now he's simply talking about all the various views. So this is first one, which is Deham. Then the second one is Pranam, which is number 6 in the Manasa Ullasa. So in the Prana, you become a little bit more sophisticated, more thinking. Still wrong, but a little bit more sophisticatedly wrong. So what that means is that you say, there is something more than the body. Because if the body does not have prana, then it becomes like a dead body. This is what happens when someone says that it just happened last week, it's very fresh to me. Their father died. So this is my father he went to the hospital, and he was an old man, 91. And there's one lady called Nandini Tandon. Nandini Tandon. You know her? Her father died. Yeah. So she wanted me to. I'm still waiting for her call. So they wanted to consult me. We had a long talk and so on and so forth. So they're saying our father went to the hospital, and in the afternoon, and he died. Then they say that we are taking the body. No one says we're taking our father anymore. So the word father or mother or whoever is only there for a live person. When the life leaves, when prana leaves, is no longer a person. It's very obvious. Everybody says, nobody will say, so where is your father now? My father died 4 days ago. Where is he? Where is he now? So person, I don't know where he is, but his body is right here. This is what we all say. So the people will say, this feeling that the body is the Atma is not correct. Because it's a very strange thing that just a minute ago he was a person, and now he is lying dead, and the body by itself cannot do anything. So therefore, prana must be me. You see the point? It just says prana is not the body. So that is a more sophisticated view. The next one is deham pranam. So prana, and all these will be taken up later on for analysis and for eliminating. All of this will be eliminated. So it will be said that pranam is also not me. But it feels like that I am the prana. So what it means is that I am as long as I'm alive. This is the view. I am no one if I'm not alive. You see the change in scenery. So, life is equated to Atma. I am alive. So saying I am dead is tantamount to saying I am not there. And to say I am alive is tantamount to saying I am the living me, I am the Atma. As we will see, this is also not true. So the prana is just one of the functions that I employ for my life's expression. Like a body is a function that I employ, and the prana is also one of the functions. The fact that I am alive is also a temporary, it's kind of like a temporary costume that I wear. I'm much more than a living person. So this we will examine in more detail as it goes on. But so this is given in number 6. Kechit swashisimi jivami shuditosmi pipasita iti ityadi pratyaya balat prana atma iti manvate. So he says, I breathe, I'm alive, I feel hungry, I'm thirsty, because a dead body doesn't feel hungry, dead body doesn't feel thirsty, but only a live body. All these physiological functions. So the prana is not only that I am alive, but I can feel, I can move my fingers, I can see, all of these kinds of things. And so therefore, okay, we will settle prana is the Atma. Done deal, okay, fine. Then we go on to the next one. Then it says, by the way, I understand that I am a prana, but I am not really identified with the prana. It is there in the background. That I'm alive, you don't go around the whole day saying, oh, I am, you know what, I'm alive. You only do that if you escape an accident. For a short time you will say, my goodness, I'm alive. But you don't, after that you ignore it. So maybe I am not just the prana. But what am I identified with all the time? With the sense organs. I'm seeing, I'm hearing, I'm talking, I'm listening, I'm touching, I'm smelling. All these kinds of organs really defines me. I can even see that I am the body. So I must be the seer. Shrota, manta, bhokta. That must be me. This is another evolved thinking, a little bit more sophisticated. You can say all these people, they think, I'm the body, I'm the body. No, I'm more intelligent. I am the seer of the body. I must be the seer. And so that means, this is the third one. So it just becomes more evolved, more sophisticated. Deham pranam api indriyanapi. Then comes, and so in some ways, there is an outer to inner transformation, not transformation, but an outer to inner movement. So the body is out, and then the livingness of the body is a little bit more close to you, and then your indriyas are even closer to you. Then comes manaha. So chalam buddhim. So chalam buddhim, Sri Shankaracharya ji has added, it means the moving buddhi. So this is the Buddhist view, that really you are your thoughts and everything else is subservient to it, but it is your moving thoughts, including I am alive, I am thinking, so on. This is what defines you. And this is the view that the Buddhists espouse, and they came out with an insight, which is an interesting insight actually. It is good. It was probably done even in the Vedas, but they like that insight and they glom onto it. And the insight is, in the modern way of looking at it, these are frames of the film that are run very fast, that look like it is continuous, even though they are discontinuous. So they are jerky. And if you look at the film and you just slow it down, you'll find. But if you run it fast enough, it looks like a hand moving like this. So they say, aha, the whole experience of life seems to be continuous and contiguous. But it is continuous and contiguous because of movement. They are in fact nothing but frames. So the Atma is nothing but frames, consists of frames. So this is what is called Kshanika Vijnanam. Kshanika Vijnanam means, so the Buddhists have two main, they have split into two camps. So one of them are called Kshanika Vijnanam, means that the moving buddhi is the Atma. So that is what is called Chalam Buddhim. We'll go into a bit more detail. I won't go into much more than this because we have to keep moving, but I do want to give you a landscape of what's happening. And so Chalam Buddhim is the next one. Then there is another viewpoint which is given by another view of the Buddhists, another segment of the Buddhists called Shunya Buddhi. They argue that, wait a second, when you say that the Atma are these frames, jerky frames, don't you see that the jerky frames for a while are not there? See, when they are there, I understand that. But in between the jerky frames, there is nothing but silence. And not only silence, there is nothing there. This is what we have to say. They don't see that it is the Atma. But they say there is nothing there. Means the Shunyam. There is nothing there at all. And so Atma means that any presence of anything creates problems. And absence of things. According to this, then the death should be wonderful. But the interesting thing is, none of us want to die. You see, if death was so wonderful, except for people who are having a severe problem and they want to commit suicide, nobody wants to die. Otherwise, if death is so wonderful, we wouldn't, as soon as we are born, we'll say, kill me. That doesn't happen. We all want to survive. And so Shunyam is not the way to really have a final decision on what the Atma is and so on. So that also is talked about. And so that is given in number 8. number 8 and 9. And number 9 is the actual verse. So a lot of these are given before the verse, right? And then, so, let me look at Panchavilasa Sangraha, Pranam, etc. Then Jata Karmadi number 5. Yeah, so Janami Pratyabalat. Then comes Deham Pranam Apindriyani, which is the, and then number 9 is then continues on with some more analysis later on, and then the rest of it. So then now we will transition into the problems and shortcomings of the way this is looked at. What are the why should we not accept it? And again, I think even when when we go into that, the idea will be our own nididhyasana. When we find the defects in these viewpoints, it should not be to criticize anything else, but to understand how my mind also thinks the same way. That nididhyasana means that I don't take my life, the way I run my life is that I am a deha, I'm seeing. That's what we're very busy doing. But to have a parallel set of thoughts which will be questioning and based on some reality that we need to really understand very well, that I am the Satchidatma, Satchidananda, to bring it into my mind and turn our mind into a Samskrita Buddhi is what Nididhyasanam is all about. So the objective of all this is not to criticize anyone else, but to criticize my ajnana, my own ajnana. So that's the, I remember Swami, I didn't understand it at that time, but I still remember how's these words, one doesn't forget. Swami Chinmayananji used to say. He says that our Shastra will keep, Shastra says, keep your own mind in front of you as a student. He used to say that. And I didn't quite understand what he meant. But the more I look at it and I study it, that's what he meant. That don't just, and this is true for our own interaction also. I'm not teaching you just because I am done and you are ignorant people. But this is a common thing. I may be half a step ahead of you, I don't know. Even that I'm not sure of. But at least we are both traveling together. And so my own thinking also improves as I talk to you. So that's the spirit that all the Shastra says. Then don't criticize it as the Buddhists say this and Jainis say this. Hey, I say this. So that's the thing. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityo Ma Amritangamaya Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Just want to point it out, isn't that common people, not in the same path, but when we say Jivatma and Dehatma or things like that, they can't see the separation. Atma is something I am as a presence, existence, versus the body. Isn't that makes it confusing to people without knowledge or explanation?
Yeah, of course,
So,
when you, depends on what language you are using. Why would we even use the word Jivatma?
no, for our studies, when we are studying, right, we say Jivatma.
Okay, so within your own,
So I'm just
within
saying
the
it when
Vedantic
somebody
family,
speak
when
up
you say,
something and reading about that kind
Yeah.
of a language, right?
oh, you're saying that when we are still trying to understand what the
Correct.
words mean and so on. So there, the way to view that is that the Jivatma, that's why the prefix Jiva is used, is just like saying a room space,
Yeah.
Jivan Sev. So then you say Mahakasha and Ghatakasha. So Ghatakasha is Jivatma and Mahakasha is Paramatma. So that's the way to interpret all these words that Vedanta uses. There also one has to be clear about what Jivatma means. So what Jivatma means in that sense is that there is some perceived reality. From a Vyavaharika standpoint, it does make sense, but from a Paramarthika standpoint, it doesn't. So, for example, here we discuss about, we want to have a bigger class. This is not enough space for 50. So that's also, we're talking about space alone. But it is not from the standpoint of its reality, but from the standpoint of its utility. So the Jivatma should be understood in that sense. And the same thing is true for Jiva and Ishvara. And all these are relative roles. In the final analysis, there is neither Jiva nor Ishvara, only Brahman. Yeah. Okay, good.